In today's video, I am switching it up yet again because I don't have any art deliveries on the horizon. I have some things in the works, but nothing that's going to be arriving anytime soon until after the new year. I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about where my original art collecting journey began and how I went down this path of sickness, I guess you could say. So I've mentioned before in previous videos, but I was out of comics for a long time. I was a big reader of comics in the early '90s. Read all the way up till about maybe like 2001, various comic stories. And then I dropped out for a long time. I went to college. I actually 2001 is when I graduated college, and you go into the real world. You got to pay for more important things than comics. So I wasn't reading for a long time, and I was fine. There was nothing that really interested me to bring me back. I would kind of maybe once in a while pick up a graphic novel. That kind of thing. Things that I had heard was really good, but definitely not anything that I regularly was reading comics. So, flash forward to probably 2010, 2011, whenever the announcements for the New 52 came out. I was friends with some people who were reading comics and talking about things that were going on. And one of the things that really got me was the announcement of Greg Capullo doing the art on Batman and doing a relaunch of that title. And I love Greg Capullo's artwork. Some of my earliest stories in the '90s that I were reading was the X-Men titles with the Fatal Attraction storyline. He was on X-Force at the time, and then shortly after that, he went over to Spawn, and he was the first artist that I kind of followed him to something that I wasn't familiar with. I was reading, Superman titles, and I kind of stuck with those, but they were fairly regular. They had creators come in and out, but there was a kind of a core creative team in place in most of those titles. But yeah, so Capullo was the first time that I went, okay, well, I'm going to follow his career because I want to go see what else he's drawing. And I was aware of Spawn. I wasn't reading it, but he went and worked with Todd McFarlane. And his first issue that he worked on was issue 16. I'm not sure if I got 16 when it came out, or I know I got issue 17. I picked up issue 17 when that hit the stands, and that was I'm pretty sure that was the first one that I bought of his. But then so I read Spawn for a long time, and I left it around issue 100 when Greg left the title, and I'm very loyal like that. I find creators that I like, and I stick with what they're doing. And if they go to some other title, I mean, I'm more like that now. That was the first time that I had done it then, but that is very much how I read comics now. I like the Superman titles of the early '90s, The Death and Return of Superman, and those creators. I will read like what they do with Superman, but it's not like Superman is my favorite character. I don't really have, I would say, necessarily a favorite character, but I do follow creators. So anyway, so Greg Capullo on Batman, that brought me back, and I was following him on social media as that was going on. He'd post teasers and it just fun stuff that you'd see that he was working on, and so then I want to say it was 2016, like early 2016 or mid 2016, somewhere in there. They had made the announcement. Greg made the announcement that he was going to be selling some of his original art online. He created a new website, and that really was the first time that it really clicked that you could buy original pages from these comics. And looking back, I can't believe that didn't hit me sooner. But yeah, I had gone to conventions before. I never really got sketches. I bought prints. Had maybe some like I don't even think I even had anybody do like a remark type thing, like in a graphic novel or anything like that. I don't think I'd done that until after I started buying pages. So anyway, so they made the announcement that they were going to be selling originals, and I thought, okay, I need to buy something from this, whatever this initial batch of pages is going to be. I want something, and so I saved up. I sold. I started selling. So that was when it hit me that like, oh, I could just sell some of the stuff that I have and prepare to buy a page. So I did, and I this is kind of crazy, but the first the Batman pages that hit the site. Now Greg Capullo is his art is not inexpensive. Um, I think a lot of times what they do is they kind of flip proof the art, so they kind of ensure that the people that are buying the art really want it. So it's kind of like there's a lot of times where you feel like it's like tomorrow's prices, but today, and I'm okay with that, especially when it's the creator that you're buying from. So yeah, that didn't bother me, but maybe I was stupid and not really understanding what the market was for other pages. But I was like, oh, the pages started at $1,000, and I thought, okay, well, I mean, I was kind of playing with Monopoly money anyway because I was selling action figures, other comics, toys, that kind of stuff that I was kind of making a profit on, and so it was kind of like fake money as it was, which is kind of silly to actually think of it that way, but it was true. I mean, it was things that I bought, appreciated in value, sold them at the higher price, and that's what I used to buy this page. Um, so it wasn't just, luckily, I wasn't just, oh, I'm going to get something, and no matter what, I'm getting something. I really wanted something, and I really wanted something that meant something to me. And thankfully, there was a page that was $1,000, and it was a page that instantly I saw it, and I was like, oh, I remember that moment when I read it. It's an impactful story beat moment. It's not, it doesn't have Batman on it. Bruce Wayne is on the page, but he's not in a suit. But it really spoke to me. It featured one of the relationships that I've talked about if you've watched other videos. It's the relationship of Batman and Commissioner Gordon. So it was a really impactful page, and I decided, okay, you know what? We're going to do this. It hit the site, and I purchased it. So what I'll do is I'll slide over. I'll put a picture of the page there. Now, it's a page that I really, really love. I mean, I remember, just seeing it in the book, and it was impactful, and to see that it was available to buy, and I could have that actual art. Yeah, it spoke to me, and like it's one of those pages that it might not speak to everyone, but because I love Commissioner Gordon, his relationship with Batman, I love uh, what Zero Year, I almost said 0 Hour, kid of the '90s, 0 Year, what it did for the origin of Batman. I liked that take on it. I think it's important for each kind of generation to have their own Batman origin story. So um, yeah, I loved what they did. I enjoyed what was established with the different relationships, specifically with Commissioner Gordon and Batman slash Bruce Wayne. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pause, and I'm going to show you how I actually framed this piece. Now, I don't have everything framed in my collection. You can't do that. I mean, maybe I can't do that. I only want to have things that are very, very meaningful to me on the wall. I think it's kind of impossible to frame everything, but I do have some things framed that I'll rotate out. But this is one, and I'll show you in just a second. It's a frame that this piece is not leaving my collection. So yeah, so all right, so let's take a pause, and then we'll talk about how I framed it and why I framed it how I did. So, okay, so here is a look at how I framed this piece. Now, obviously, this is a I dedicated a lot more wall space to this one with the framing of it because this one means a lot to me. This was since it was the first uh, art purchase that I had made. Um, I know that this one's not going to leave the collection, so in a frame it went, and I really wanted to give the page context. So I framed it with a copy of the comic that's signed both by Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder. I framed, to give it balance. I knew needed the page in the center there, and I knew I wanted to frame it with a published example, a published page. Um, and I know I needed the published page and the comic. So then I figured out a way to kind of help balance out the presentation. But again, it made it a lot bigger. But what I did was I framed the title of the story, the issue, the credits for the issue, and then I also included the panel that is right before this page on the page previously. It's talking about how Bruce doesn't trust the police. He's it's he and Alfred are in the cave talking about how to deal with the Riddler and Doctor Death. And Alfred mentions, hey, do you want to go to the police with this information? Maybe they can help. And Bruce says, I don't trust them. And then right here, some kind of important context to this page. It says, to my mind, there isn't anyone on the force worth a damn. And then, the next page, you see, boom, he's crawling up. You see Commissioner Gordon, and he said, yeah, you were saying, Mr. Wayne? So I just love that given their relationship is not what it is yet. It's establishing where that trust comes from, so where that relationship is established. So I think that's in any retelling of Batman's origin, given the Batman Gordon relationship, and it Batman working with the police is kind of goes against what his larger mission is for the most part. He's doing it on his own, doing it his way, and that obviously butts up against the police quite often. But you would need to establish that relationship, and this is what this story does. And this to me, that this page, it's such an impactful moment. There's no superheroics going on in this page, but Bruce comes up out of the Batcave that they're developing, and then right there is Gordon, and it's one of those moments. I remember reading it, turn the page, and I was like, whoa, okay, he's busted. It's one of those. Okay, how are they going to explain that? Why Gordon isn't very curious as to why Mr. Wayne is in the ground. He says he explains it off as that they're working on a generator in underground generator. But yeah, it's I absolutely love this page. I love that even at the bottom there you get Alfred's silhouette popping up, going oh. But yeah, I just think this page it's simple for the most part, but it's incredibly effective and impactful. I love the silhouettes at the bottom. You can tell that uh, Gordon has Bruce at a disadvantage, and then Bruce kind of kicks into his more stoic mode, and it's an antagonistic relationship at this point. So I absolutely love this one. Thrilled that it was available as my first purchase when Capullo started putting his pages on sale. So yeah, this is one that, like I said, I will always keep this one, and it will always hold a special place in my collection. Okay, so there is the look at the frame up close, the giant frame that takes up a portion of my wall. We have a good spot in our house. It's a landing at the top of the stairs. It's kind of like a reading reading area that we have. So I have a couple pieces framed in the wall there. It just seemed like a good place for those. I try not to have things all throughout the house because I don't want it to be overwhelming. That's what that's what this room is for. Um, but yeah, so I had to bring it up off the wall because it's not really a great place to frame up or to talk about the frame up there. So I brought it down into the collection room and figured we'd talk about it there. So yeah, so that's I don't know if I mentioned it what issue the page is actually from, but it's Batman issue 25, and it's part of the back half of Zero Year. It's in the Zero Year Dark City um, collected edition. So yeah, it's a page that this run, this Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo on Batman, I it's one that, like I said, is meaningful. It brought me back to comics, and I frequently revisit those stories. I read them a lot, not just the Batman run, but also Metal and Death Metal, mainly just to you know enjoy that Capullo art because it's awesome. It's still yeah, I think it's very fitting that this was my first purchase, and yeah, it's one that I'll keep for a very long time. But yeah, that year I think I bought that page. I think it was like the spring of 2016, and of that, of course, led into later purchases. And I think maybe the next video, we'll talk about my first commission, and that was the same year. That was also 2016, but it was in the fall of 2016 when I went to Baltimore Comic Con. So the light bulb went on that you could buy, original art, and then that led into, where we are today. So. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching this. I definitely enjoy talking about that piece specifically because it just means so much, and yeah, I love it. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.